your city. We're gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
And welcome into Indiana Sports Beat here as we have reached the midway point of the week.
Hump day.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining us wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking us along here on Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle sitting in with you. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
As always, we've got a great show in store for you. Today on the program, we're going to talk a little bit of Pacers and Victor Oladipo as they've come swinging around. The former Hoosier will get with Grant Afseth, as we usually do each week. Moved it up, changed it up a little bit this week instead of Thursday. He's going to have him on today because today is signing day in college football, the beginning of it, and we're moving Matt Weaver to tomorrow so we can really get a great conversation on that. So on the program today, Grant Afseth, we're going to talk some Pacers, Victor Oladipo, also former IU player Lance Stemler. We'll talk a little Central Arkansas and recap a little bit of the Butler game. Before we go forward, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your headlines for this Wednesday, December 19th, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. Colts add former Hoosier and linebacker Tigray Scales yesterday. Speaking of football, Pro Bowl votes are in. Tom Brady selected to his record 14th Pro Bowl. Indiana men's basketball welcomes in Central Arkansas tonight at 7, and you can catch a doubleheader today as the undefeated women's hoops team plays Loyola Marymount at 4 p.m. Those are your headlines for this December 19th, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
And welcome back to the program. Be remiss if we did not mention Terry Hutchins, a longtime friend of the show. He was on with us from the very beginning. Was involved in an accident a couple of nights ago. Terry is a 20-year beat writer for Indiana. You know his work from the Indianapolis Star. If you were in Southern Indiana, you get to read him in the Courier. For the last few years, he's been writing for CNHI papers, several papers across the state of Indiana. Places like Jeffersonville, New Albany, News and Tribune, places like that carry his coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers. And Terry, unfortunately, was involved in a serious accident, and we wish nothing but the best thoughts and prayers to his family, to Terry, hoping for a full recovery. I know that Justin mentioned to me earlier that last night Chris Holtman, the coach of the Butler Bulldogs, had mentioned Terry in a press conference he was having.
Actually started his press conference with it. Let's take a listen.
Okay. I want to just begin by expressing our thoughts to the Indiana basketball family and to Terry Hutchins, who's a longtime reporter that covers Indiana. I know he's been involved in a difficult accident, and those things are tough. I don't know Terry well, but our thoughts and prayers are with his family right now, and we're hoping and praying for a full recovery. As far as the game,
that was Chris Holtman, Butler's basketball coach, being very gracious. Ohio State's basketball coach, former Butler basketball coach. Mine's a little elsewhere right now. Very, very high, classy of him to do that. Yeah. Our good friend Terry Hutchins is in a hospital in Indianapolis at the moment, and look forward to hopefully having him on the show again.
Tom Allen also talked about it on Twitter, said thoughts and prayers for IU sports writer Terry Hutchins following the car accident that he was recently in. I have so much respect for the manner in which he covered our program, first class in every way.
Absolutely. Well, Terry's such a character, man. Yeah. You can't ever tell. He has a unique sense of humor. If you listen to the show, you can certainly know that. last week maybe when it was our greatest, my favorite episode that we had. I think he started off by giving me grief about something. I can't remember what it was.
For interviewing AJ Moye so early.
Yeah, we have to pull that up. But certainly thinking about Terry and his family. Just saw him Saturday at the Butler game. Talking to Todd Leary. So, thinking about Terry, man. We're thinking about you. Tomorrow on the program, we will have Ken Bykoff on, along with Matt Weaver. And we'll get caught up in that regard. Hope your day's off to a great start. Juwan Morgan was chosen the United States Basketball Writers Association's National Player of the Week on the heels of his 35-point outburst performance against Butler over the weekend. As the accolades continue to come in for the senior big man.
That's big time. When's the last time Indiana had a guy get National Player of the Week? It's been a long time.
Good question. You'd have to research that. Because I don't know.
Wish Ken Bykoff was on today.
There you go.
He'd be able to spew it out.
He would certainly know it. That's a fact. But he'll be on tomorrow. We can ask him tomorrow. Hit us up on the text line if you questions, comments, thoughts about what's going on, even comments about Terry, questions for the guests that are on the program today. You can hit us up. That is 812-969-6367.
269.
What did I say?
969.
Start again. Mind is just everywhere today. 812-269-6367.
There we go.
Hit us up on the text line. Hope your day's off to a great start. Indiana takes on Central Arkansas tonight. They're back in action at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. The women, the Lady Hoosiers, are they're playing down in Puerto Rico.
Oh, that is right.
I
No
don't know if
doubleheader.
Huh?
I forgot. I said that you could catch a doubleheader today. I forgot they're in Puerto Rico.
Well,
because they're listed as the home team.
Oh. What time is their game?
4.
We'll get you updated on that tomorrow. But I think there's 4 teams down there playing. They could come out of this with a 12-0 record.
Pretty good.
Unbelievable. They're still not ranked, though. It's kind of funny. I'm like, really?
It's BS is what it is.
I'm like, in women's? You go 9-0, you beat Butler, you beat UCLA, you're not ranked?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. They got Buffalo ranked.
Not the women.
Well, still, Buffalo men is like the regular women of a big school. But they put it to Syracuse last night. I think 71-59 was the final score there.
I'm glad I didn't bet you on that because I wanted to.
And that was at Syracuse, I believe. Or was it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How about that? Buffalo stepping up.
11-0.
11-0 with a win on the road at Syracuse. That's huge for them, man. That's a state rivalry game there. Upper New York, upstate rivalry.
They're 4-0 on the road now.
Boy, that microphone is
killing me today.
Toast. I heard Trevor, the same problems yesterday.
Getting irate.
Same thing yesterday. Hit us up on the text line with your questions and comments, 812-269-6367. On the program today, as I said, we've got Grant Apseth. We're going to talk a little bit of Pacers in the next hour. Also, who did I say? Oh, yeah, Lance Stemler, former IU player Lance Stemler. Talk a little bit of IU basketball. Well, we'll probably talk a lot of IU basketball. As the Hoosiers prepare, they have got 2 games this week. Central Arkansas tonight. Off a couple of days, then they have Jacksonville on Saturday. And then they have a week off, or 10 days off.
Yeah, 11.
11 days off. Unbelievable.
Kind of hard to believe a team can get 11 days off in the middle of a season.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if a team, maybe they could use it more. I mean, injury-wise, that ought to heal them up.
Yeah.
With the exception of Race Thompson, who we still don't know what's going on there as far as a timeline. We're hoping to get him back by mid-January.
I'm kind of worried about that.
And then today starts the beginning of the football signing period. Indiana expecting big things, man.
Mm-hmm.
They've already landed their biggest recruit, basically, ever, with Jay Tuttle coming in at quarterback from Utah. Never played. Never took a snap for Utah. And he will be eligible immediately to play next season. So you're going to have great competition in that quarterback room between Tuttle, who is a pocket passer, and Michael Penix, who is not a pocket passer, who is what Tom Allen prefers, but is Tom Allen going to be making the calls? And by that, I mean, will there be a new offensive coordinator, a new quote-unquote offensive head coach, as he termed it? My thought is that that's what's going to happen after this signing period is over. You're going to hear an announcement that Mike DeBoer is retiring, and they will replace him. Now, the key thing there is, who are they going to replace him with? Are they going to go outside the program, or are they going to stay inside the program and just promote from within, which would be the Indiana way, which would be a horrific mistake?
Like Joker said on Monday, Matt Canada's available.
Trust me, I know that. I think that would be a very good hire for Indiana. I think it would be a perfect hire, timing-wise. He's an Indiana guy. He's already in with the Indiana coaches. He's from New Palestine. He's learned a lot since he was here last. He did a hell of a job at Maryland. Yeah, he's someone who's definitely on my mind. And he's someone who has some head coaching experience, obviously, because he was the head coach last year,
yep,
which Tom Allen could desperately use assistance in that area. There would be nothing better than that.
Have them learn together. Let's make it a coaching competition.
Well, Canada's got more experience. He's got more coordinator experience.
So if it plays out like the quarterback room, then Canada will win out.
Well, I'm just saying,
Ramsey
Canada's
had
been a
more
coordinator
experience.
for a decade.
Yeah.
He's got a ton of experience.
Sure.
Ton of experience at the highest level. He was at Pittsburgh. He was at Maryland. He was at LSU. Tons of experience. I think that would be a good hire. I mean, he did a wonderful job, I think, last year. We got a break. But coming up on the program today, Grant Absinthe, we're going to talk Victor Oladipo, some Pacers turnaround. Also, Indiana's getting prepared for Central Arkansas tonight. Lance Stemler, former player, on the show today. Stay tuned. Indiana Sports Beats coming right back.
So now I'm gonna do my dance. The Humpty Dance is a chance to do the hump. Come on. Yeah, sexy lady.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all
Today's
want a
guest
winning
is brought
smile
to you
for
by
those
Bubba's
championship
33 in
photos,
Clarksville.
and that's exactly what you will get at
Pizzas,
Reynolds Family
burgers,
Dentistry in
and ice-cold
Sellersburg.
beer.
Reynolds Family
Pizza,
Dentistry has been
burgers,
serving
beer.
the dental needs of
Bubba's
Hoosier
33 in
families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry,
You know what that means?
812-246-3368.
Always, brother. Have a good one.
Have a great Friday.
All right, crew. Let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
All my friends, yellow low rider.
You know what that means? Chronic Hoosiers along on the ride. Chronic, how are you, sir?
I am doing outstanding. How about yourself today, Jim?
Cannot complain. There's no snow on the ground. It's not freezing cold, so I'm surviving.
You know, we've reached that time of the year, though, where it's like, it's cold. It's kind of miserable. It's not so bad when the sun's shining. But it's really wet and muddy still, you know. So if we could either get to the permafrost part of winter where we stop wiping the dogs off all the time, or let's just get to full-on global warming. And let me break the shorts back out. We need to pick a season here in Indiana.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. I'm looking forward to it. But it's certainly basketball season right now, and Indiana moves up to number 22 in the latest top 25 poll. 7 Big Ten teams in that top 25. 3 more receiving votes on top of that.
It's a grinder right now. This is, everybody knew, I think, that the league was going to be pretty strong this year. Most had pegged it for maybe there's going to be a handful of teams that we're going to be able to compete. I don't think anybody had any idea just how good the league was going to be top to bottom this year. I mean, It's absolutely insane right now.
We knew that we knew it was going to be improved because it sucked so bad last year. There was nowhere to go but up. But this is beyond expectations. My gosh. I mean, I've never seen a conference they don't have much at the top. It's Michigan right now, and Michigan alone. Michigan State's not even in that upper tier, I don't think, even though they're in the top 10. They lost to an unranked Louisville team. I think they'll get there, and it'll be Michigan State at the top. But you've got a middle that is so fat, so many teams in that middle. It's unbelievable. When you have 7 teams ranked in the top 25 and 3 more that are getting votes, that's going to be a tough road to hoe all year long. Every road game is going to be a grind. It doesn't matter where you go, all the way down to Illinois and Rutgers. It's going to be a tough season.
No, unquestionably. Absolutely unquestionably. I think when you look at that, everybody knows every year it's pretty much a given. You got to handle your business in the non-conference. Set yourself up for Big Ten play. Never did I ever imagine that it was going to be this incredibly difficult of a conference to navigate through. I'm excited as I'll get out to see it start at this point. Obviously, excitement's pretty high after that big win against Butler in the Crossroads Classic. Got 2 more and then a long break. But as you're sitting here looking at the calendar, we got quite a gulf between now and the next really competitive Big Ten game. Now, granted, that pretty much guarantees that we're going to get a hell of a run, as you often see during the holiday season with some of those non-conference opponents. The hall gets a little bit funky when the students aren't in there, but we're looking about 3 weeks now. About 2, I guess, till you see Illinois. Hopefully, they get some stuff figured out offensively with this break. It's going to give Archie a chance to get Central Arkansas here tomorrow, and then Jacksonville this Saturday to maybe iron out some wrinkles in the offense and figure out a way to get it not just flowing a little bit better, but I think most importantly, get it started a little bit quicker. As we start to wind down non-conference, I think one thing that stands out for all the dynamics that Indiana brings to the table, it's going to be really tough to win some of these basketball games. You find yourself in an early hole, going 10-plus minutes into the start of the game.
Yeah, the turnovers is the big thing. They turned the ball over a lot early on, and they were giving up some second-half points. Butler was doing a better job on the offensive glass. They had it, and they were knocking down 3-pointers, and I was like, "Ooh, uh-oh." And they got that lead up to 10 points a couple times, and they had opportunities to extend it, and they just quite couldn't, because I think that may have been the difference right there. If they are able to get that to a 13-point lead, that's a huge difference between the 10-point lead that Indiana kept it at and was able to whittle it back down. But they kept it within parameters where they could play back into the game easily, and they did that. And it just did what Indiana does and stays strong down the finish. And man, they shot the ball very well going down through the end of the game. But they're going to have to get some output for some other guys besides Romeo and Juwan.
No, unquestionably, and not just output. Period. I mean, you look at Archie only had 6 guys that hit the scorer's column in that game. Pretty subdued 13 from Romeo, although he did step up pretty big in the first half when it was pretty much all Juwan over everything. There was a run, I can't remember exactly how many scoring opportunities or how many buckets he put together, he strung together in order to kind of will them back into the contest and at least get them back into the ball game in the first half. But, God bless Butler for, I don't know if that was their version of running out the clock, but last 10 minutes or so they decided they're going to make a concerted effort to feed the ball through the post and really gave Indiana an opportunity to put themselves back in the game by getting stops, something they weren't having a lot of success doing when Butler's attack was a little bit more balanced with the inside out.
And Juwan, I mean, golly, we talked about his performance, so we're blue in the face, but how do you not? It's just, he was dialed in from the go. When that bell rang, I used this analogy yesterday, he came out swinging, and he didn't stop swinging until the bell rang to the end of the 12th round. He was just, from the word go, was just on point.
That's perhaps the only drawback to Tennessee's buzzer beater there at the end is it kind of took the focus off just what an insane game Juwan had for Indiana. Career high 35 points that's going to say a whole lot in and of itself. But particularly when you look at the way in which he was able to basically put the team on his back and just let them know that it's not happening tonight, not on his watch. The scoring says a lot. I look at his leadership, his ability to lock in on both ends of the floor. Something that we've now seen multiple times with this team is their ability to dig in on defense when the offense isn't working, and use their defense to get themselves back into the game by getting stops. Transition buckets are obviously going to be key for this team, but just the ability to keep Butler from continuing to run up the score on him. And early in the first half, it was all Juwan. Hoosiers looked completely shell-shocked out there. And then they just started feeding the guy. And his ability to slink underneath the basket, he's got his bag of tricks, the ways in which he's able to finding ways to score right now just seems bottomless. It's he's putting together one of the most memorable senior seasons in recent history.
Moving over to football a little bit, signing day coming up. It starts tomorrow, runs through Friday. Indiana and Tom Allen has them in position to bring in the best class in Indiana's history. And that's on the heels of having potentially one of the better classes they've ever had last year. And then you add into the fact that they bring in Tuttle from Utah, and this is really making this a special class for the Hoosiers.
No, unquestionably. And, it's credit to Tom Allen. It's right at the cusp of bowl season beginning right now. Everybody knew that there's going to be a lot of focus on Indiana's offense going into the next season, what they can do to improve it. I think most people figured the most likely route was going to be a change at the offensive coordinator position. Here we are as the coaching carousel is already starting to slow down a little bit, at least as far as all the head coaching vacancies getting filled out. And talk around Indiana's offense isn't about staff changes. Tom Allen just continues to go out there and bring in some pretty big pieces.
And the only question I have for that is, I was talking about this earlier, is, no staff changes right now. Maybe they're waiting. If that is going to happen, it's after the signing period, or maybe nothing's going to happen. And if that's the case, that's got to be a little scary while you're bringing in some great pieces. If you're not going to use them the way we saw them used last year, that's got to create some concern. At least it does for me.
No, and I think you may be wise to point out signing day is kind of a pretty big mile marker, as we travel down this off-season road. Perhaps, a lot of, with the changes at that top level, a lot of coordinators going to be shuffled here over the coming weeks. But I feel like that window is closing by the minute, not just by the day, but literally by the minute. At this point, if I had to bet, I would say it's probably far greater unlikely than it is likely to happen that we see a change there. But who knows? That could be something where they've already discussed it. They are going to wait till the class gets locked up, get them all, get their signatures faxed into them, since we're still sitting and receiving faxes. Before they announce any changes, my hunch is right now, as it stands, they're going to let it ride. I'm curious to see. I have a feeling it's probably still too early to view the latest quarterback addition as a reflection of their, the progress of Michael Penix. I think it's probably still a little bit too early to tell where he's going to be come next year as far as his rehab and his recovery from his knee injury. But even if he's 100% by the end of spring ball, which is not likely to happen, you got to love the fact that there's going to be increased competition at the quarterback spot. By all accounts, Tuttle brings in just a massive arm, which is something I think anybody that's watched more than 2 plays of Indiana football this year knows was one of their greatest liabilities offensively. And that is one thing that I don't know. I'm not going to lie. I don't know exactly what Mike DeBoer's offense looks like. He's got a full complement of options available at his disposal, but I have a feeling that it probably won't change too terribly much as far as how they run this offense going forward.
There'll be a little bit of hair getting pulled out, but we'll certainly find out. And it's odd that Matt Canada is sitting out there, and I don't know that he's an answer. I'm not saying that, but I do know that he did a hell of a job with Maryland last year, and I know that if that 2-point conversion against Ohio State works, he's probably the head coach at Maryland right now.
Yeah, unquestionably. The only thing that I'd throw into that is never underestimate Maryland's ability to do some inexplicable stuff. No, there's a number of options out there that would seemingly bring different dynamics to Indiana's attack. There's something to be said for Tom Allen's loyalty. I guess we'll have to see, man. I'm not real sure where it's going to break, but my hunch is he's staying put. My hunch is they're going to have to do some soul searching. Another thing that stands out, though, is we still haven't heard anything on the defensive end of the ball. Tom Allen, finished the season talking about being prepared to turn over play calling duty on defense to a coordinator. So I don't know if he's staying put there as well, if he's going to look to bring in somebody that's maybe a little more like him as far as his defensive philosophies. I think that side of the ball is probably just as likely, if not perhaps a little bit more, to turn over here in the coming weeks.
We'll certainly find out as that goes. What's Chronic Hoosier working on? I know that you always got your podcast going on. Make sure that we let the fans know about that.
We're actually breaking that back out. We've had a brief hiatus here. Had some family matters to attend to on both sides of the podcast desk, but we were actually planning about a 9:30 return for Mind Your Banners here today. So we're pretty stoked about that. Other than that, we got a holiday special coming up, too. We're probably going to schedule sometime today. Every holiday, last couple of years over Christmas break, Zach and I have sat down and kind of take a step back from the IU-specific element, talk about some of the things we're thankful for, what we enjoy living in Bloomington. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of dad talk now with Zach and young Master Jackson fast growing up before our eyes. I know they're not sleeping a whole lot, so... No, we're gonna get into that at some point here in the coming weeks too. Gives us something kind of nice to break from Indiana athletics, especially with that lull in the schedule coming up here starting Saturday.
Plenty to happen. Indiana takes on Central Arkansas tomorrow night, and they'll take on Jacksonville on Saturday. So plenty of action this week for the Hoosiers. And the women's team is still rolling along with their 9-0 mark, 15-game winning streak. So good things going for Indiana basketball across the board right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you want to talk about probably one of the bigger snubs. Terry Morin's squad not yet getting ranked. I'm not sure exactly what else she's going to have to do other than run the table here this week in Puerto Rico. Women are playing one of those invitational-style tournaments. They deserve it, boys. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to watch them yet this year for all the hype and the ballyhoo that Tyra Bruss and Amanda Cahill deservedly brought to this program. I don't think it's a stretch at all to say that what Coach Morin's got this year is her best team yet. It's a hell of an experience. It's a fun game. It's a great family atmosphere for folks who don't get a chance to get to the whole lot. Come check out the women, man. They deserve your support.
Absolutely. Chronic Hoosier, thank you, sir. Look forward to it next week.
Always, brother. Have a good one.
Have a great Chronic Hoosier. Thanks a lot for joining us as he does each and every week here on Indiana Sports Beat. Stay tuned. We've got Mike Schumann coming up next, right after this.
I'm gonna meet the boys on floor number 2, smoking in the boys' room.
This is Jim Foyle, and I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area, or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. This hour of Indiana Sports Beat is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. With hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle here on this Wednesday. Justin falling asleep there on us. Justin Kalen, high top of Crew Chief's box.
Not falling asleep.
What day is it?
I'm wide awake. Wednesday, hump day. Sorry. Dang it.
Opening of the signing period, early signing period for college football. Indiana gets an early Christmas present with the transfer of Utah quarterback Jack Tuttle. Sends shockwaves through the IU community. That's just a huge get.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude, he was one of the top 8 quarterbacks in the country in his class, I think.
The buzz around Jack Tuttle is kind of palpable with Brandon Dawkins, what everyone was thinking about him last year. So that's the only thing that has me a little bit worried. Is
he's a much more higher rated quarterback.
He's higher rated. He's better all around. He hasn't played at the college level yet, but Brandon Dawkins didn't pan out. So hopefully Jack Tuttle will.
Yeah, it's a completely different situation. This is a young kid coming in, hasn't even played it down in college football yet, I don't think.
Sure.
And will have immediate eligibility. It's going to give great competition in the quarterback room, and you've got 2 completely different looks, which could be something else that Indiana could throw out as a wrinkle next year. We had thought that may be a possibility with Penix and Ramsey this year, but that didn't happen, only because they weren't going to play him.
Yeah.
But that won't be an issue next year, and then it's going to be interesting. I'm certain that the IU receivers are very, very happy and celebrating.
Yeah.
This kid apparently has a very strong arm. I mean, he was very successful as a prep. He was at the Elite 11. That's a very, very, very elite camp.
Hence the name.
Exactly. He's something, man. I mean, he's just probably the highest rated, would be the highest rated recruit they'd ever received, which he's not a recruit per se. He's a freshman that's never played, but kind of pretty much the same thing, really. Yeah. But you can lump him in with his class that's going to expected to be a very, very good class. They've got a lot of good parts coming in, man. Tom Allen doing a phenomenal job. You've got to just take your hat off to him, and he's reaching heights that no other football coach in Indiana has reached. So for that alone, the man can recruit. He certainly can recruit. Will there be any personnel changes? Yeah, that's yet to be seen. I think that there will be. But like I said, that's yet to be seen. We'll see how that turns out. But I think that having talent is certainly not going to be an issue.
Yeah. No, shouldn't be. And I thought you brought up an interesting point. Everybody's talking about, well, who's going to be the quarterback, yada, yada. I think you can do both. Because like you said, they are two different quarterbacks, Tuttle and Penix. Send Penix in there, design run plays. Penix can even make the throw from time to time. So I think it'll be interesting to watch it play out through the spring and then into next season. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that especially if you get them acclimated to that, then a two-quarterback system is very achievable.
Yeah. Now, I'm not a fan of a two-quarterback system. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely hate two-quarterback systems. But do I think they can work? Absolutely.
Well, I think that it could in this scenario because we're talking opposites. We're talking about straining a defense two different ways. I mean, they have to prepare for two different attacks. And if you have the offensive firepower to carry out, say, an offense that has Jack Tuttle in it, which is going to be a pro-style offense, and then you bring in a Michael Penix, which is more of a wildcat, and you throw a bunch of wrinkles in there, that stresses that defense. They have to have completely different personnel to cover one than the other. So it could be something that works out very well for Indiana. And with both these guys being young quarterbacks, bodes well for them as also.
Yep, I agree. And while we're on football, did you see yesterday Dan Godsoll was actually named All-American?
You know what? I did, and I forgot. Thanks for bringing that up. That's huge.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen very often.
No, to say the least.
How in the world that happened, I have no idea. I mean, not that he doesn't deserve it. He absolutely does.
Yeah.
Usually you kind of get lost in the shuffle.
And then more on recruiting. Indiana, I saw another stat last night. Indiana is going to sign more 4- and 5-star recruits in this class alone than they have in the last 4 classes combined.
Yeah, I saw that post also, and I responded to it.
It's incredible.
Well, what I responded was Indiana has never signed a 5-star, and there are none on the board this year that I'm aware of.
That's true.
So that's kind of a goofy statement.
4 stars.
Yes. Now, and I'm going to be hard-pressed to think they're going to sign more 4 stars this class than they have the last 4 combined.
Isn't Samson James a 5?
No.
You sure?
Pretty, but not positive.
I was thinking he was, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he's not, but yeah, I don't think Indiana has ever signed a 5-star. But if that is the case, even with the 4 stars, that's unbelievable because they had a decent class last year.
Yeah.
But more importantly, it shows progress. It shows somehow, and I tell you, there's nothing more impressive to me than this job that Tom Allen's doing, especially on the heels of 2 5-7 seasons, on the heels of having a very lackluster offense. That dude, if he can recruit the talent that he's recruiting now after that, which he obviously can, he can sell ice to Eskimos. I'm telling you, the dude is just unbelievable. No wonder he got the job. No wonder. That's mind-boggling.
I mean, and if he approaches recruiting like he approaches life and the way he respects people, there's no wonder he has success. I mean,
well, that I'm certainly. That's him. He's genuine.
And I think that goes a long way with him.
It absolutely does, and apparently it works. I mean, not only did he get Samson James, but he got him to flip as a OSU commit after losing at OSU.
Yeah.
I still remember that, how crazy that was.
You know, and that's one thing I'm really excited for signing day about, just because, just get it out of the way. If I just actually looked up Samson James, he was a 4-star, by the way, but it's got him 86% IU, 14% Ohio State, still, right now. So
Well,
just get him out of the way.
Not signed, yeah, until they get him signed, until they get that name on the dotted line, which that starts happening today.
Right.
David Bell is one that I know people are holding out hope. Don't see it happening. I don't see that happening. I think he's sadly heading up north.
To Purdue or Penn State?
Closer. And sadly, that's just a...
Yeah, no, that's kind of the vibe I've gotten from the whole thing, too.
Yeah, Warren Central wideout that many expected to win Mr. Football. That didn't happen. But they got a couple JUCO guys coming over as well on the line, which will help out. But a big day coming up for all the teams around here. But it's a tale of the future.
We talked about it a little bit on Monday, but Tim texted into the show and asked, does Tuttle help us get Bell?
It would have, had they made some changes prior to the changes I think they're going to make after.
You don't think signing Tuttle alone
Bell's gone.
helps?
Bell will not be playing in Bloomington. That I will guarantee you. David Bell is going to West Lafayette. You just forget it. Write it down. He is not coming to Indiana. He is ready to play now. So, therefore, he's going to go where there's an offense now. And that would be with Purdue, with Jeff Brom, David Blau, a quarterback returning, Rondale Moore returning. They've got offense in place. It's plug and play. Indiana, not so much.
You don't think Purdue having Rondale Moore maybe scares David Bell off a little bit?
Absolutely not. I think it's an enticement. You imagine those two together? What are you going to focus on?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. At Indiana, you'd think maybe there's more of a mindset that I could be the man as opposed to sharing time with the other man.
How are you going to be the man when there's no offense?
You don't know that, though. Tuttle could bring an offense.
I do know that because there has not been an offense. Yeah. So you can't go on what maybe could possibly, if I wish hard enough, might be, or is already there. Purdue had a prolific offense. Guess what? Quarterback coming back. Rondale Moore coming back. They're going to be prolific, and Jeff Brom, most importantly, coming back. They're going to be prolific again. He can play right now. Most freshmen go into it knowing they're going to redshirt. They're not going to play. Not David Bell. He's going to play next year. He'll be on the field. Yeah. And he'll be playing right now with a good offense.
That's a good point about having an established offense versus hoping for an established offense.
That's a difference maker.
Yeah, and I mean, that's seemingly Indiana and Indiana football every year. Fans are constantly hoping maybe this is the year they get it together offensively. But why should Indiana fans think that when they've never seen a change in the offense? Every year it's the same old thing.
Well, it's not. No, it used to be the defense.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I mean,
then it switched to offense. They had the most prolific offense in the conference under Kevin Wilson. And about the time he got Tom Allen hired, and they had a decent year, and then about the time when you knew that, oh, man, next year's going to be awesome, whoop, whoop, Wilson's gone.
Tim brings up a good point on the text line. Purdue did not have an offense when Moore went there.
No, they had Jeff Brom. They got Jeff Brom.
Fair point.
They landed Jeff Brom, who went to where? What high school did Jeff Brom go to?
Trinity.
Where did Rondale Moore go to?
Trinity.
Thank you. Thank you for playing, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, it's all about timing. It's about relationships.
Yeah.
But it's about having the juice. And a guy that's ready to play, I can see him making the decision he made. Indiana's stocking for the future. Indiana's looking good for the future. Jeff Brom's not going to be there long term. Yeah, he made it through this round, surprisingly. But that's because his next job's bigger beyond.
Yeah.
Louisville would have been a lateral move at the end of the day. Not even a lateral move, maybe a lateral step down.
Yeah.
But his next job is going to be, and I predict this right now, he will be the next coach at Notre Dame.
Can see that.
Jeff Brom, next coach at Notre Dame. For one, that's a pressure cooker of a job. That's one of those jobs that if you get 10 years out of it, that's about all you're going to last. I don't know how long Kelly's been there now, 5, 6 years?
Yeah, that sounds right.
And so Brom's going to give another couple, 2, 3 years to Purdue with that new $6 million a year contract. And I'd say in about 3 years from now, be about the time for a change there. Well, not change there, but be about the time for him to hit the road when Chip Kelly goes out.
Brian,
rather. Kelly brothers. Too many Kellys. That's just my thoughts.
He has been at Notre Dame since 2010.
Okay, so he's
this is his 9th year.
So he's a couple more years, and I'd say he'd be gone. Even though they're at the college football playoffs this year, you see it. You know how fast things change.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially at a place like Notre Dame. But I see Jeff Brom going someplace like that next, specifically to Notre Dame. I think that will be his next job.
I'll write it down. Tell you you're right in 6 years.
Do it. Also, you can write down the fact that I said that Calipari next year is his last year in Lexington. You can write that down.
Well, you know, when he first got the job, he said he wouldn't be there more than 10 years.
Who cares? Who listens to anything he says? He's such a used car salesman.
That was before we all knew he was such a used car salesman.
But that's just, I think that's how it'll turn out, and you wait. But big day right now, big goings on for in college football. Going to tailor make the seasons for next year. Another thing about Jake Tuttle is he's going to be coming in mid-semester. He'll be in spring ball. He'll be ready to hit the ground running in the fall.
He'll have that same advantage Michael Penix had last year in learning the offense.
I mean, Indiana should have most the defense returning. You know, they talked about how young they were last year. The guys got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out and what they can mix in. But got a text into the text line as well. I forgot to. They didn't say who it was. Anonymous. Total class act, Chris Holtman. God, I got to quit saying that. I don't know why. After Archie's show Monday night, makes me wonder if any of the players challenge him to a game of horse before or after practice. If you're listening to the show, Archie talked about being. Somebody said, "Does he shoot with the players, or whatever?" And he just said, "No, but I would kill him."
He said, "I would by far and away demolish any player on this team."
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my thing: how do you think the other players, found out about that? Because Juwan Morgan was in attendance, because he, of course, was on the show. He actually pointed at Juwan when he said it. Do you think Juwan went back and told the team, or you think the team found out some other way?
Oh, I'm sure just a multitude of mixed managers, Juwan, J.D. Campbell.
But I could see Romeo just, all right, Coach, let's go.
Oh, I promise you. They're out there looking at them on the free throw line one day.
They probably don't want to do that.
Probably. That's what I'd do if I was Archie. I heard, I have to ask Pat if this is true, but I remember a story that, I think it was Pat Graham. One day it was with Coach Knight, and they were at free throw. Pat Graham was a prolific shooter, period. 3-point shooter, free throw shooter, one of the best in the history of Indiana, still to this day. But if the story I was told was correct, Pat challenged Knight to a free throw shooting contest, and somehow Knight wins, and he says, "Oh, come on, we got to do this again." And he just stops, turns around, and just says, "Sometimes you just get one opportunity in life," and walked off. Even if it's not true, it sure sounds good.
That's fantastic.
But I was told that story. But
Well, now he was a good shooter in his own right.
how do you know?
Well, he had a pretty good college career, right?
Well, probably more of a defender. He was probably the guy I could see that probably should have been playing hockey. He's the guy you bring in off the bench, the Bruiser. I'm sure. I wonder if that was his nickname, playing Dick the Bruiser.
I could see him playing some hockey.
Oh, you know it.
He played so long ago, I can't even find stats.
They didn't have stats. They used sticks. Sticks and charcoal from Burt Coles. That's how they kept track of things back then. We've got a lot coming up on the show today. Grant Absinthe, we're going to talk some Victor Oladipo. The Pacers have come back around as he's come back. Also, it's signing day, the beginning of college football. And we're going to talk with Lance Stemler, former IU basketball player. Stay tuned. We got lots more coming back here on Indiana Sports Beat.
This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat.
Well, we're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Hey, welcome along, Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Thanks a lot for taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. We appreciate you taking us along for the ride. Hope it's a good one for you. Jim Coyle sitting in with you here. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Hope your day's off to a great start. Got a great show today, as always. Grant Absinthe is going to be on the program today. We've moved him up a day and swapping out for some college football signing day starts today. So we're moving Matt Weaver to tomorrow so we can have a full conversation on that. Matt with Peaks.com, normally with us here today. He moves to tomorrow. Also on the program today, Lance Stemler, former Hoosier player, as we get ready for the Hoosiers to take on Central Arkansas tonight in Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Lots to get to. Before we get to it, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your headlines for this December 19th. Brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. Colts add former Hoosier and linebacker Tigray Scales yesterday. Speaking of football, Pro Bowl votes are in. Tom Brady selected to his record 14th Pro Bowl. Indiana men's basketball welcomes in Central Arkansas tonight at 7. And the Indiana women's hoops team, the undefeated women's hoops team, plays Loyola Marymount at 4 p.m. today. Those are your headlines, brought to you by Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart, located on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
And welcome back. Hope your day's off to a great start. Ours is. Indiana takes on Central Arkansas tonight. A lot going on. Juwan Morgan named National Player of the Week by the U.S. Basketball Writers Association. So as the accolades continue to come in for Juwan after that 35-point performance against Butler over the weekend. Duke had a big game last night. How about Buffalo and Syracuse? Duke is just, they were looking pretty stout.
They're sick.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Buffalo, we talked about them quite a bit. They were undefeated and ranked. Hadn't really played anybody. Took on Syracuse last night. Knocked off the Orange. Buffalo still undefeated. They're still rolling.
Unbelievable.
It is kind of unbelievable because they are having a great football season.
Yeah.
They're ranked in the top 25 in football, which blows my mind. It's unbelievable. But make sure you get your comments in. That was, and actually Joker had sent that comment in earlier if I got him logged in. He hit up on the text line. 812-269-6367. Make sure you hit us up on that. Quotes, comments, questions of the guests coming up today. Let us know what your thoughts are. Kevin also hits us up on there. Only heard the last 20 minutes, but as of last night, things not looking good for Terry after a Monday night car crash. Terry Hutchins, longtime friend of the show, been with us since we came on, started doing it. Terry, a 20-year beat writer for the Indiana Hoosiers, has covered Indiana. You know, if you're an Indiana fan, you know Terry Hutchins. Terry, you've seen his work in the Indianapolis Star. If you're in Southern Indiana, you see him in the Courier of late. The last few years, he's been with CNHI, the 30 or 40 papers around the state of Indiana, but has been covering Indiana for quite some time. Several books out. Just been covering the Hoosiers for a while. As much an authority as anybody, but just a fun guy, a unique sense of humor, and really enjoy our Thursday conversations with him and enjoy seeing him at the games. Saw him Saturday at the Butler game. Gave me a little chicken wing on the way out. That's his mode of affection. I can't ask for anything better, to be honest with you. There's not the handshake, not the wave. Gives you a little chicken wing on the way by. But that's the affection that you hope to get from someone like Terry Hutchins. But our thoughts and prayers are with Terry and his family as he is in the hospital in Indianapolis right now. And our thoughts that hopefully we'll be talking to him soon. But thanks a lot for texting us in about that, Kevin.
Yep. And Archie Miller also tweeted about it last night, said, everyone please say a prayer and keep longtime IU rider Terry Hutchins and his family in your thoughts right now. Terry is hospitalized after a car accident. Really appreciate how he's treated us and covered us since our arrival. Has covered IU basketball for a long time.
Absolutely has. Been a good friend, and we're thinking about him. Certainly thinking about him. But on the program today, as I said, Grant Abseth, we're going to talk some Pacer action. Victor Oladipo, he's come back from injury, and man, they lost last night, a tough one, but they're playing pretty well.
Yeah.
Looking good. Things are rolling. Also on the program today, Lance Stemler, former Hoosier basketball player. Indiana gets ready to take on Central Arkansas tonight in one of their next to last non-conference game. They have another one Saturday against Jacksonville, which, hard as it is to believe to say this, Justin's going to be on the call for Jacksonville.
Come on.
For that game.
Using my Jacksonville media connections. Hey, good news, though, for Indiana with that Jacksonville team. I started doing some game notes yesterday. They actually play at Notre Dame on Thursday night. So they've got to play at Notre Dame Thursday night, then turn right back around and play at IU on Sunday or Saturday.
That's good news because they have to play?
Well, they're just going to be tired. I mean, it's not going to be a hard game for Indiana at all.
I was going to say, do you think they need that?
No, Jacksonville has been playing well. I got to give them some credit.
Well,
but they don't play the level of competition that Indiana does.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Makes it a difference. DeJuan Morgan, like I said, chosen the National Player of the Week by the United Basketball Writers Association. That's a huge honor for him. So congratulations to him. Hit us up on the text line if you wish, 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts are. Justin sure likes to. On the program, hit us up with your, what do you think of the team so far? How do you think that Indiana's basketball team is playing? We never really get to hear that. I see a lot of stuff on the fan boards, and yeah, I like the supportive stuff, but I also like the honest stuff. I think Indiana's playing pretty well. The funny thing is, like right now, the coaches poll is out. The top 25 coaches poll. Indiana is not in that still, which just cracks me up. It's a poll, so it doesn't matter, but it kind of makes me laugh a little bit because this is the coaches poll, and I would think that they would know better. And as I look down the 6 teams that are from the Big Ten that are ranked, Michigan at the top, of course, deservedly so. Then you've got a Michigan State team at 9 or 10, and I think that varies on poll to poll. But regardless of that, I put Indiana right next to Michigan State, if not just a tick below, maybe. But after that, the next highest rated team is Wisconsin. I'll put Indiana up next to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Much less the other 4 teams that are below that. So it's just kind of I'm like scratching my head that Indiana is sitting here at 9-2 with their only loss on the road to Duke and a missed tip-in at Arkansas, which they should not have lost that game. But I think that beatdown that they got at Duke left an impression in people's minds.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a loss. They got
destroyed.
And, yeah, they only lost by 21 as opposed to getting beat by 38 or whatever. But it was the way it happened, and I don't know if that's quite fair because Indiana was depleted. It was a true road game for Indiana, which Duke has yet to play a road game, to my knowledge. I don't know if they've left Cameron Indoor.
Yeah, and if there's one argument I can make against that, the fact that I don't put as much stock into the coaches poll because coaches have a job. They have to be with their team. They've got to review game tape. They've got all these duties to do throughout the week, whereas media members, they're getting to sit on their couch and watch basketball.
The coaches poll is almost a joke because, first of all, now these coaches do know a lot of these other teams because
they're not
they
getting to watch
them
as much.
But they're not watching half those other teams because if they don't play them, they don't care about them. So they've got somebody that's doing this for them.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I don't believe that these coaches are, and there may be some, but I don't think that these coaches really do this. I think they got a guy, and he may look over it or something and say, yeah, it looks good to me.
I'd buy that.
I mean, it's just like the women's team not being ranked after winning 15 consecutive games, 9-0 start the season, wins over Butler and UCLA. So
nobody gets to see them.
Yeah, but you could look at a box score.
Yeah,
a win over Butler,
but why
a win
would
over
you?
UCLA.
But why would you want to take the time to look at a box score for Indiana women's basketball?
They beat Butler. They beat UCLA.
Right.
They're 9-0.
But I mean, I bet if you polled half the people who vote in the AP poll for the women's game, they wouldn't know that Indiana's beat both Butler and UCLA.
Okay, then they shouldn't be voting.
I don't disagree with that.
If you don't know what the hell's going on and what you're voting on, then you damn sure shouldn't be voting on it.
Well, I mean, it's clear that they don't know what's going on. I mean, 9-0, 2 really good wins. That's a team that should be in the top 25.
Yeah, because I'm like, how many undefeated teams are there left? Pull it up, find out.
I bet there's probably like 50.
In the women's?
Yeah, women's game is more geared towards whoever's supposed to win's going to win. The upsets are rare.
Right, but still, sometimes good teams have to play a good team. You're not telling me the top 25 is all undefeated. There's no way. It's not possible.
No.
Not 9-10 games into the season. Somebody's got to lose. There's no way that that's not the case.
All right.
College football.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. Okay, so there's only like 8 undefeated teams in the top 25. 8.
8 out of 25. My point exactly. Hello? Give me some of the 22 through 25.
You've got Michigan State 9-1, Texas A&M 8-2, Miami 9-2, and South Carolina at number 25. They are 6-4. Now they've probably played best of the best because it's South Carolina, but still 4 losses and you're in the top 25. Indiana's undefeated and they're not. Something's wrong with that.
There you go. John Q. Public wanting to know if we're suggesting Russian influence in the coaches poll. I think that there could be, there may be. We may have to have an investigation.
Collusion.
Maybe some collusion going on. Hitting us up. We appreciate that. I've got more texts coming in as well. We'll get to those after the break. We've also got Grant Abseth coming on. We're going to talk some Pacers, Victor Oladipo. Lance Stemler's on the show as well. Stay tuned. We got plenty more coming back here on Indiana Sports Beat.
This is Jim Boyle, and I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project. So you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
And welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle here on this Wednesday. Hope your day's going well. Got Grant Apps coming up here in a few minutes. Thanks a lot for hitting us up on the text line. Continue to do so, 812-269-6367. Let us know what your thoughts are, any questions you may have. The Bear wants an update on the 5-star center Indiana's recruiting. I assume that is Trace Jackson Davis or Keon Brooks. Trace Jackson has already signed his letter of intent. Keon is still on the loose, but I expect him to go Indiana's way. May not be until the spring. He's in no hurry, but we'll see how that turns out. But just a lot of back chatter amongst the players, and I think that's how that's going to happen.
I wouldn't consider Keon a center.
No, he's definitely not. I mean, Trace Jackson is, but since he's already signed, I didn't know if specifically who the Bear was asking about. But yeah, Trace Jackson's already signed his letter of intent.
Maybe Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah, I don't see any other names coming into Indiana basketball this year other than Keon Brooks. That's what I'm expecting. So keep them coming, 812-269-6367. Any questions, comments? Lance Stumber's going to be on the show today. We're going to talk about Indiana taking on Central Arkansas tonight. We'll recap a little bit of the Butler game as well still. That game is still pretty fresh. Juwan Morgan, fresh off of his National Player of the Week performance. Be interesting to see how he responds, because that was a huge game. They needed a huge performance, and they got it. And this is one of those, I hate to use the phrase, throwaway games. But it's kind of hard to get up for Central Arkansas.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he comes back after such an incredible performance. And it also is interesting to see who's going to step up. They still need a third scoring option, and that's been by committee thus far, which it's been okay, but they need a third option. They need the fourth and the fifth to be by committee. They need number 4 and the 5 spot to be committed in. That's the difference again between an okay team and a really good team. Is when you've got 3 options, then you're working in 4, 5, and 6, and they're just rotating on who's having a better game. That's when you're doing well.
Yeah.
They've got Romeo. They've got Juwan. Now, who's going to step up and be the third option? Is it going to be Justin Smith? Could it have been Race Thompson? Could it have been Jerome Hunter? We won't know about that one this year. Hopefully we'll see Race at some point, but it's still going to be hard-pressed for him to get, by the time he gets the plane up to full speed, the season's going to be about over.
Yeah, and that's something a lot of people forget. If he does come back, yeah, he will have to take. I mean, look how long it's taken Duran. He's still, you could argue, he's still not back up to speed.
Yeah, he's working his way back, and Duran has provided some quality minutes here of late. Every time he comes in, Justin Smith has been playing well, but they're doing that 4-5 thing. That I'm talking about. Those are the guys in the 4-5 spot that rotate on who's having a better game, but nobody's that consistent third option. I thought that it might be Evan Fitzner, but after kind of a nice start, he's kind of disappeared a little bit. As the season's progressed and the playing rotation has played out, his minutes have gone down a little bit, but his production has gone down. And Indiana just has not established that third guy. All along, I thought it was going to be Justin Smith. Now, Justin Smith has played a lot better here of late. He had back-to-back 9 rebound games. I think it was the Penn State game where he had 9 and 9. And then in the recent game against Butler, he had 7 points and 4 rebounds. A nice outing. A nice contribution. Rob Fennessy is someone who I think is going to be that third option, because he is already heading in that direction. Let's pick it up and talk about a little Pacer action. And Victor Oladipo, as Grant Apsis joins us now. Grant, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Great. The Pacers had been in kind of a tailspin, but they had Victor Oladipo had been sidelined, and then he comes back and makes an immediate impact. But they've been playing well without him, surprisingly. Took one on the chin last night, but the Pacers seem to be playing pretty well overall.
Yeah, they were playing well leading up until last night's game. They're moving the ball really well. They rank like second in assists since November 10th, and they've been playing elite defense. And yesterday, they just couldn't hit shots. Bojan Bogdanovic was, he averaged or scored at least 14 points in 17 straight games and hasn't hit that mark in consecutive performances. And I think right now they relied on his scoring impact, and he's kind of been an unsung hero. And not having that impact kind of hurt them because they don't have a whole lot of reliable jump shooting because they're one of the lower volume 3-point shooting teams. And when you have Oladipo not hitting 3-pointers, and then you have only Doug McDermott for the most part efficiently hitting 3-pointers, then and the ball's not moving, then you're going to have a tough time even beating a team like the Cavaliers when all those things are off.
Yeah, that's a tough loss too, though. The Cavaliers, because they're not good. They're post LeBron, and they're just not a good team. That's as well as they've been playing. That's almost, I don't want to call it a devastating loss, but that's a loss that really just leaves you shaking your head, I think.
Yeah, it seemed definitely like one of those trap games. Like all those players on the injury report for Cleveland, 7-game winning streak heading into it. Yeah, it's definitely not a good loss. Yeah, they had definitely a chance to win at the end too. 3 missed free throws by your star player, and then a questionable no call at the very end too. On top of it, with Larry Nance Jr. kind of just chucking Oladipo to the ground for the offensive rebound and put back. Yeah, it was definitely was an interesting game to say the least.
And you talked about the three-point shooting. Obviously, did not go well for the Pacers. They were 4 of 22. These two teams combined were 10 of 53 behind the three-point line. That's about 18.8% or something. That's pathetic for that level, the shooting. I don't know what it is, but that's not good shooting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the main thing was that they usually rely on Oladipo and his three-point shooting, and Bojan Bogdanovic, and neither player were necessarily hitting shots last night. And lately, as someone who's been kind of helping boost their production in that area is Miles Turner. Like some nights he's been hitting multiple three-pointers when the rest of the team hasn't necessarily been hitting them. And, at the beginning of the year, that wasn't the case. So their three-point shooting was, more of an apparent issue, but he's been able to cover that up lately. And he went 0 for 1 on true attempts, and he had a heave attempt to end the half. So, he didn't really have a real, a whole lot of real three-point attempts. So it's kind of a weird game. I think they kind of completely went away from what's been working lately, and I think Oladipo wanted that one himself too badly, and I think he even said that in the after the game in the post game comments that he tried too hard to kind of win it himself.
Yeah, I think Victor definitely needs another scorer on that team to help alleviate some pressure off of him. Like last night, when it's not going well for him, there needs to be another guy that they can count on if they're going to go anywhere in this postseason.
I think one thing that would be good would be to, there was times during last night's game where Oladipo pulled up for some tough shots, and he could have, I think he could have moved the ball and found guys like Turner. He's been scoring at the level of a secondary scorer over the last, good amount of games. And then, you have Bogdanovic, who has been as well, and, at least excluding the last two, he had a really long stretch of strong scoring performances and was their top scorer with Oladipo out. So, I do think they could definitely use a secondary star. I do think Oladipo could at the very least trust kind of like the players that he has to make those like sort of basic plays at the very least, like to catch and shoot jump shots, look to create more shots around the basket for his front court players, things of that nature. Especially if he's going to be the heavily utilized playmaker that he is.
And I know we're in the front part of the season right now, so it's very early. Is it too early for the Pacers to be looking at making any moves yet?
I think if you truly believe that you need a star player, I don't think it's ever necessarily too early, because that result's never really going to change. If you think you truly need one, then you're going to truly need one regardless. And I think probably it's good to look at that if that's what you want, but you're probably not going to be able to get anything done for the most part until closer to the trade deadline, when teams realize that their season's kind of hopeless, and it kind of actually sinks in that they should probably blow it up.
And as we go forward, the Pacers, making a challenge for in the Eastern Conference, but the Eastern Conference has gotten a little tougher without LeBron than it was with it seems like, as the disbursement of to Philadelphia, Toronto, Boston, these teams have all kind of risen up a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely the top of the East is definitely difficult with the teams you just mentioned. Toronto's going to be a tough team to beat in a playoff series for anybody because they just swarm around on defense with all that speed, and they have athletic long defenders. All of them, they have a lot of shooters too, and Kawhi Leonard's obviously tough to beat. And Philadelphia, they lack depth. They can make some moves maybe, but their star players will be tough to stop as well. But I think the key in the Eastern Conference is to get a top 3 seed because playing a 4 or 5 seed playoff series would be challenging for anybody in that conference, considering how top heavy it is. But if you get a 3 seed, you're playing a team like Detroit, Orlando, Charlotte, and that's a comfortable, easy series to win with home court advantage regardless. And you're advancing to the second round with home court advantage for that second round.
Sounds good. Grant Absinthe, appreciate you joining us. Find him in the Kokomo Tribune, his coverage of the Pacers. Talks with us here each and every week. Grant, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You betcha. Thank you very much, Grant Absinthe. I don't know what was more impressive last night, the block on LeBron or Zion Williamson hitting his underpit on the corner of the backboard going up for a block.
I'd say Zion.
That was. Did you see that?
I did.
He goes up for a block and catches his underarm on the corner of the backboard after the block, and it about knocked him flat. But
yeah, and I don't know if it was this past game, or the game before, but he hit his head on the backboard at some point as well, going up for a dunk, hit his head right on the corner of the backboard.
It's just unbelievable. We got a lot more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Lance Stemler joins us next. Stay tuned. We're back right after this.
This is Jim Boyle, and I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers. You can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural. You must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Hey, this is Lance Stimler, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
On Highway 150 and
one more time.
While you're filling your gas tank, you can fill your own.
Hey, this is Lance Stimler, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5
Awesome, thank you.
and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each
20 seconds.
game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beats. Lance Stimler, former Indiana player, joins us now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're getting by just fine here in the mid part of this week, and Indiana reaching out to the last couple of non-conference games before they enter conference play, and then a little break after these two games this week. They take on Central Arkansas tonight after a tough game against Butler on Saturday. Man, that was a knockdown drag-out.
Yeah, no, that was good. Real quick, I do want to just send thoughts and prayers. I'm sure you've already touched on it, but with Terry Hutchins, and hope that he has a speedy and recovery, and thoughts to his family. He was one of the best, and I got to know him a little bit in Bloomington in my time there, and every time I would go back and see him, any game, he would go out of his way to say hi. So I did just want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah, a great friend of the show. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Terry's been on the show since we came on. He's on every Thursday, and always look forward to his unique sense of humor. Terry, if you didn't know Terry, you were missing out, or you missed out, or you're missing out. But man, he's a funny sense of humor, man. Very dry sense of humor.
Yes.
But a great writer.
Correct, and great guy. But back to your original question, knockdown, drag out with Butler. Seems like we've been on the good side of those endings so far this year, which is always a good sign that they figure out how to win, regardless of how they play, what happens. You have a belief that, hey, at the end of the game, we're going to have more points than them. And so far, it's held true. So.
Yeah, and I know it gets worrisome sometimes, but when you are winning, it seems like that's the opposite, because some teams getting that funk where they just can't they get in those streaky games where they just keep losing those. Kind of what happened last year somewhat. Indiana was in that position last year. Couldn't get over the hump, where this year they're doing enough to win that they could not get done last year. Whether it's the right person stepping up at the right time. This past week in Butler, of course, it was Juwan Morgan with a monster game, 35 points, and just a monster stat line. It was just crazy. But on the other hand, does that give you a little worry that it's just Romeo and Juwan carrying such a huge part of the load?
Not really. I mean, I think there's plenty of talent around them to step up here and there as needed, but those two have been so consistent that hopefully by the end there's a third consistent person every night. But if not, enough on the roster to where one person steps up this night, the others this night. But it's the mentality. And when you said like last year's team, you're just kind of waiting for. There's certain teams that you watch and you can see it in their face. They're just waiting for something to go wrong because they have that, oh no, not this again type mentality. And then on the reverse side, with what they're dealing with this year, I mean, and Coach Miller is a winning coach, so you take on his personality. In their minds, they're going to win. It doesn't matter what the score is at whatever time, and you see that mentality on their face where they just truly believe there's not a doubt in their mind that they're going to win the game. So I think it's a great thing to start to build on through the season. You'd much rather see this win close games than the reverse of squeaking by, but barely squeaking by.
Yeah, last year I looked at that team. It seems like if they came down to this situation, they were always looking for who's going to make the play, who's going to step up and do this. This year's team has got guys that are looking to make the play, multiple options, whether it's Finney, whether it's Jawan, whether it's Romeo. There are guys looking to make the play instead of looking on who's going to make the play.
Exactly, and those guys are winners. I mean, Romeo and Finney both came from extremely good high school programs and they've always been winners, and that's a winner's mentality. And Coach Miller's a winner, so I mean that rubs off on the entire team. So in those situations, you have guys ready to step up because that's just what they know.
And as a player, how crucial and different is that for an entire team's mentality and an entire team's season when you have that mentality?
Oh, it's night and day. Like I said, it's a psychological thing that, and there's certain teams, and I've been on teams before where in junior college we went on like a 35-game win streak. There was we could be down 30 in the second half, and you look down in people's eyes, and there's no doubt that we were going to win the game. We'll figure it out. And then all of a sudden, when you believe that, things start turning in the game, and then the other team kind of goes the other way because they think that you know that you're going to win. So then it's all a psychological game, and if you truly believe it, then usually good things happen.
They've got a couple of more non-conference games to use whatever they wish, whether it's to continue to get this offense more in sync together, and then they've got about an 11-day hiatus where they get to rest, take some time off as they prepare for the opening of Big Ten, not the opening, but the rejoining of Big Ten play, where they have 18 more games, and what's going to be a gauntlet, by the way, because right now 7 teams in the AP Top 25 are ranked. What's that like as a player knowing that, man, your conference season is just going to be brutal?
It's definitely going to be tough. And they've got a good coaching staff, and I'm sure they're reiterating. And as hard as it is to do, you take it one game at a time. It's a one-game season every day. You're only preparing for that next game. Because if you start looking ahead, like you said, man, that's brutal. From top to bottom in the Big Ten this year there's no breaks. So they're definitely going to be, by the end of the year, they're going to be battle tested. And hopefully we haven't seen our best basketball out of them yet. And like you said, getting their offense kind of tweaked and primed because the defense has been keeping them in it so far. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully they continue to get better. So you hit it. Ideally, you hit a peak towards the end of the conference and into the tournament.
As a player, being realistic, you know when you got a home game against a bottom feeder, whoever that may be at the time, and normally there's several of them. Normally there's like 4 teams at the bottom, where that's not really the case now. But normally when you have that and you're playing that team, it's kind of like you don't have to get as mentally juiced as often. Well, now they're going to have to get mentally juiced almost every game. How taxing is that? More taxing is that on a player, as on the team?
It's pretty. I mean, like there's just no off nights. There's no, and the coaching staff will reiterate that and take care of business. And I mean, as far as the conference teams go, there's really no looking down upon anybody because anybody can beat anybody in this league, and they've been like this. It's been like that almost every year. There's a few outliers here and there where you just kind of know that, but for the most part, if you don't bring it, you're gonna have a competitive game. So as far as the conference goes, and I almost think it's easier getting up for those games as a player than like tonight's game or Saturday's game where you're kind of looking forward to conference and coming off a big emotional win to where it's harder to get up for a game like tonight or Saturday. So hopefully we see some improvement and some things and they bring it tonight, and hopefully the fans and the crowd can get behind them because like I said, a game like tonight is where they need that.
And once they get into conference play and knowing that you're not really going to have those off nights, you're not really going to get to have them. Is it actually better that way that knowing you have to be up every night because that way you're less likely to make a mistake?
I think so. I just think it's easier to play when you're going against the top 25 caliber team every night. You know there's no off night, and there's not that mental lapse. There's not that you can get revved up, you can get hyped, and so I mean it's hard to say. Now, does that take a toll towards the end? Yeah. So hopefully they can stay healthy. They can be prepared and just keep getting better each time they get together.
Talk with former Hoosier player Lance Stimler, of course. And watching this team, it's early still in the season. We haven't quite gotten to a Big Ten play yet. What does this team need to do better to continue to improve, to become a top-tier team?
I mean, between one, establish a third consistent scorer or a third consistent option, to where you know that where that third person is coming from, just in case anything happens between. I mean, Juwan get in foul trouble or something along those lines. The other thing is offensive efficiency to me, and just getting more comfortable and getting easier buckets to where you'll see more assists at that point. But I think finding a way to get easier baskets and not having to create everything would be kind of a step that I would ideally would like to see.
And Lance, as far as the third guy, is that just as simple as somebody deciding, hey, all right, I'm going to be this guy and stepping up, and not just anybody, but one of either Justin Smith or Deron Davis or whomever? Is it just somebody as simple as making a decision in their mind that I'm going to be this guy, or how are they going to find this third guy?
I don't know. I don't think it's just making a decision. I think it's just a confidence factor because they're all talented. I mean, it's a matter of having the confidence to do it, but also being comfortable within the offense and being comfortable kind of finding your role. And we talked earlier in the season about kind of defining roles and so it's kind of stepping into that role and really embracing it and having the confidence at that point to do it. But I think as they progress and start kind of fine-tuning the offense, hopefully they'll start finding some easier baskets and that third person will just kind of naturally step into that role.
Yeah, and if we had to pick one, that the obvious person of that would probably be Justin Smith. Kind of thought that he was going to be in that role anyway, but here of late, his play has picked up a little bit. He had back-to-back 9-rebound games. And in the Northwestern game, it was a 9-9 game, 9 points, 9 rebounds. And then he had 7 and 4 in the outing against Butler, which was significant considering the fact that Juwan and Romeo scored the bulk of the points and did the bulk of everything in that game. They were the only two guys that shot a free throw in that game. It was a very unusual game, but Justin is probably the guy that comes to mind in filling that role, as the most ready to fill that position.
Yeah, I think so. But at the same time, it's one of those things where you can't force it. And especially a player like him, to me, it's that has to come naturally as far as the scoring goes. I was always told just lose yourself in defense and rebounding and doing the hustle things, and scoring will kind of just come at that point. And just be ready for it. And that's the thing is the other three guys it doesn't necessarily have to be one guy forcing it, but if the other three guys are ready when they're open or looking, then they're going to get open because you have, the game Juwan's coming off of, and Romeo's always there, confidence-wise and scoring. So you've got to I'm sure every scouting report they see that they play against is ready for those two guys. So it's the other three on the court that have to be ready.
And as we look forward, what's the dangerous thing? They've got these next 3 games, the two non-conference games, and they open up Big Ten play at home against Illinois. Realistically, these all 3 should be wins. That would put Indiana at a 12-2 mark to open the season. With one of those a 1-point loss on a missed tip-in, which easily could have gone the other way. And then the other loss, of course, on the road at Duke, a 21-point loss to the best team in the country. Not bad place to be for Indiana. At that point, I would think you couldn't ask for a lot more to expect them to be in a different place.
No, I agree. And if they get to that spot, and on top of that, to me, watching them, I don't think they've played near their best basketball yet, which is the most encouraging part of that entire thing. So if you can be 12-2 or whatever, and think that in your head there's so much more room to improve, which is the most exciting part of that entire thing.
Absolutely. Lance, with Logan, Lavelle, and Hunt, how's that going?
Going good. Busy time of year. Just trying to take care of customers and people's commercial, personal lines, home auto insurance, and just kind of get through the holidays, and it's a busy time of year for everybody.
Absolutely. We got Christmas coming up. You ready for Christmas?
I am. Actually, my birthday is on the 24th, so we'll get through that. We'll get through that, and then get Christmas out of the way, New Year's, and get ready for 2019 and hit it hard.
Absolutely. Happy birthday. We probably won't get to talk to you before your birthday.
Well, thank you.
So everybody wish Mr. Lance Stumler a happy birthday, and thank you, sir, for joining us. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Lance Stemler, former Hoosier player. Birthday coming up on the 24th. Brought to you by Bubba's 33 of Clarksville, pizza, burgers, and beer. Where are you watching the Indiana game tonight? Great place to do that is at Bubba's. Locations in Clarksville, Fishers, and Greenwood. Head them out, check them out. That's about as good a place to watch a game as any, and that's some personal experience. The food is great. The TVs are mini. We're going to have to get rid of you, man. No microphone. You're going to have to start doing the show.
I will second that. Good grief. 2 minutes later, I'll second that.
Well, the Bubba's thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know what you were talking about. I thought you were seconding firing that microphone.
Firing the mic, too, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks a lot for coming along with us today. Tomorrow on the program, like I said, we're going to cover the college football signing that has begun in earnest. See what Indiana's able to get done. Matt Weaver from Peaks.com will be on with us. Also, Ken Bykoff will be on. And thinking of Terry Hutchins right now. Thoughts and prayers to him. Everybody think about him. For Justin Kalen, I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.
Take your medicine.